Okay, we're good.
2 weeks ago, a young woman was found wandering, barefoot, pregnant, and alone on a barren stretch of highway 100 miles from the nearest...
Oh! We lost the engine! Fuck! Fuck! Oh, Jesus! I feel the engine on me! Going down! Mayday! 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 1,000 feet! 800! 500! 300! 200! 100!
So I want to state first that I'm an atheist and don't want to harm anyone with my critical view or my arguments about any religion. Maybe I will do a video about religion itself, but in this I will try to focus on religious influence towards video games and how particularly Islam infiltrates free speech. So here it goes. Religion and video games. Hello everybody and welcome to a special kind of video on this channel. I would have wanted to watch such a video myself, but unfortunately no one wanted to talk about this, or YouTube just banned those videos for whatever reason. I will link everything in the description and would appreciate mirrors in case things go really bad. Thanks.
Little pig.
Well, I know this could cause a massive shitstorm, but let's just get started with the iconic horror video game, which in my opinion made a great job in frightening the player, but kinda confuses with its story. I mean, the game actually contains out of running away from people, hiding from same people, trying to figure out which fucking way to go, and surely 90% of the time being murdered in the worst ways possible. However, there is a story behind all of this, and most of it is stated in documents we can find in the area, or in our notes that we can read after we film something important.
Get up. If you want to live, you can get up through the kitchen.
Story time! As many of you might know, the original Outlast takes place in Mount Massive Asylum, in which you basically have to get in, and after you manage that, your whole mission is about finding an exit. So yeah, pretty stupid, huh? At least there is this really cool sarcastic character called Miles Upshur, which you are playing by the way, and who is a journalist that got messaged by a whistleblower to investigate the asylum. And well, shit got really bad for Miles. He is trapped in a freaking horror fiesta with a 2-meter giant ex-soldier who loves to rip off the heads of his victims, 2 naked twins who want to eat him, a mad naked surgeon who wants to experiment on him and starts with cutting off 2 of his fingers.
You paying attention? Don't pass that on me. There's a lot for you to absorb.
A shady whatever the fuck that is, and a priest that is guiding him. I should have said spoiler warning, or, well, here it goes, spoiler warning. So as we go through the game, many characters die, but I won't tell you which. Only the priest, because he's important. So at one point the priest decided to Jesus himself and let his cult light him up like a firework, and that's for the religious part in this game. Oh, and between they all praise or worship the wall rider like some kind of god. Whistleblower. As for Whistleblower, things are a little bit more lame. The character is a really big baby and can't even touch Miles in anything, which is why I even forgot what his pointless name was. Turns out he messaged Miles, what a shocker, but the people that still worked in the asylum captured him and he was kind of tortured until he got released somehow, I forgot how, and We only get to see the priest once, which is when he prepares everything for Miles, but I still don't know how he would even have known, but fuck it. So we get to escape kind of from a cannibalism with an electrical chainsaw, I guess it was, but also ran into a crazy maniac named Eddie Gluskin, who apparently wants to cut off Waylon's genitals and marry him. Yeah, I looked it up now. Name is pretty fitting if you ask me. And this is a part where people can think of religion again, since it would be a gay marriage, but actually not really. Well, I don't know for sure, but people can't really blame Whistleblower for some religious bullshit, other than that it's a pretty cool end, but I fancy Miles way more than any other playable character in the Outlast universe, so I don't really care that Waylon survived.
Allahu Akbar!
So for Outlast 2 I can't really talk that much, other than it's of course related to the first part, but kinda scarier. I actually haven't bought the game, but watched some videos about it, and I got even more confused than in Outlast and Whistleblower. There are open spaces in Outlast 2 and like 20 enemies chasing you, and you can't ever get a freaking break. You can't even film properly and get pieces of information because it's so hasty, and if I would have to play this stupid game I would lose my shit and get mad and throw things around because I died 20 times at the same place. Yeah, I'm talking about the cornfield, but the gameplay isn't what I was gonna talk about. Red Barrels, the producer of Outlast, decided to let Outlast 2 take place in a cultish setting that seems to have parallels to the Jonestown tragedy. Actually, there are only two facts in the game that support this theory. One, everyone is a Christian lunatic, and two, at the end, everyone committed suicide. So there's not really something historical in the game other than a mere shadow that leads us in the direction of Christianity and fanatism. So I don't really think it's appropriate to say that Outlast 2 is anything but a game. So let's get back to the topic of this video, which is why is there no horror game or game at all about Islam where there are plenty about Christianity? Or at least Outlast is.
I don't know what the fuck your god wants from me, lady.
Allahu Akbar.
I tried to find some. Trust me, I did. I couldn't even find anything, and it doesn't make me wonder why. Because I know the answer. But the fact that not a single video game producer manned up and made a game, and I mean an actual game about Islam, and I'm standing here wondering why. And I'm of course talking about actual games, horror games, ghost games, or even cultic games. And what about a game that tells the story of jinns? Anything? Why is there so much shit about Christianity and angels and demons and whatever? I mean, there's even a hella great series called Lucifer. Watch it if you're looking for a new show. And Christians, of course, try to ban that, but they got blown off because if they don't like it, they just don't have to watch it and everything is fine. But would Muslims do that? Oh no, we are the religion of peace and tolerance. Ah yes, I totally forgot. Religion of peace. So why would there be no one to make a game out of the stories you can read in the Quran or whatever? Maybe it's because even if a game was trying to do such a thing, the developers would get spammed by Muslims to shut it down and get live threats all over the place. Like it's happening to the people which made an Islamic exorcism film in India. I got lots of live threats from the Muslim and Shia Muslim community to not make this film. So if this happens to any kind of media which tries to talk about Islam in any bad way, Muslims will lose their mind. Obviously Outlast is one really deep game which actually doesn't really focus on religion, but rather uses it for a more scarier atmosphere. So I can tell for myself it wouldn't have made any difference if the religious elements in these games were different, cause I don't really care much about that anyway. So let's have a look how Christians reacted to Outlast and Outlast 2. I will only read out the conclusion, but you can read for yourself if you're interested. The way that Outlast 2 frames crimes against humanity seals the conclusion that the developers are superficially anti-Christian and anti-religion. Echoing the first Outlast's prelude, you're told at the beginning of the game that Outlast 2 contains intense violence, gore, graphic sexual content, and strong language. Please enjoy. If Red Barrels intends to address the volatile potential of blind faith, such text trivializes the game, ensuring brutality as good old-fashioned mature entertainment as defined by 1990s juvenilia like Mortal Kombat. This flippant adversatory statement tells us that the climax, when the journalist's wife exclaims, "Fuck you and fuck your god," she might as well be talking to any believer who plays this repulsive game. So, as a conclusion, it is safe to say that people are scared of the outburst. I mean, with Christians, we just shake it off and go ahead, but Muslims would kinda raid every country that allowed an Islam-critical game to release, and of course it would also turn out to be bad in matter of political and economical interests with the East, so why even risk it in the first place, huh? I mean, it's much better to ignore a problem rather than discuss it. Thank you for watching my video, feel free to mirror it as I said in the beginning, but give me credit and tell me what you think about the way society pities Islam in the comments. Thanks and bye.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر